Yeah.
It was pretty cool. Korea was dope. We did a lot of training there. I think they knew that like they weren't going to do training anymore in Japan, so they tried to fit like so much shit in with the South Koreans. So that was pretty cool.
Okay. What'd you
Y'all
get to
got
do
like
in Korea? Because I only went to like the Philippines when I did my when I went on my UDP in Japan. But like, how was Korea? Because I've known a few people who've gone over there, but I've never like heard the
so like
experience over there.
so we flew in to I think Humphreys, and then we transport out to Camp Rodriguez,
Okay.
and that's like an army. Like they uh the South Koreans will go there, and it's kind of weird because like whenever they came and trained with us, a lot of them were saying like, yeah, this is like our culminating event or whatever. So it made me feel like it was like their crucible or some crazy shit.
Yes,
Because
like
we
big
were
deal.
yeah, so it's like a big deal for them, but for us, it was just we're out in the field, just hating our lives, smoking cigarettes or whatever. And they're like looking up to us. They're like, "How do you do this?" So we were like training them how to throw grenades, and on that specific base is an artillery range. So they were using their uh, like troop transport. I forget what they're called. And then they were doing that, and then the army was using the Abrams, like shooting targets on the side of the mountain, which was pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
And then they do I forget what it is, but whatever. Artie's out there, and then um yeah, but it's like a huge joint training base or whatever, just for these South Koreans. And
Okay.
it was wild, man. Like I have so many cool stories about that. They so we did like a night op and it rained. And so they don't have NVGs except like their team leaders. So they're all kind of like trying to coordinate with each other to like push in. And we finally get to this like mount town to where like our machine gunners are playing out for. And so they're on like third stories and whatever. And we're like rushing in, and we get to the first house, and we'd been laying there for like out in the woods on top of this mountain for like hours, dude. It's like
Yeah.
3 o'clock probably in the morning. And so we finally get in there, and all these motherfuckers are just so like done. And they're like, all right, smoke break. And they stop like in the middle of a full blown like mount like training operation and just like start smoking cigarettes and joking. Like even their gunnies like smoking cigarettes. Like, dude, it was bad. Like RCO was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like freaking out, yelling at the platoon sergeants. And they're like, I don't know. Like, oh, what are we gonna do? And so we all just smoked cigarettes like while like they were shooting at us with blanks. It was fucking retarded. Like you could see the muzzle flash like across the street, and the dudes are like smoking a cigarette like out in the street. It's so funny.
I wonder if that's why they got overran in the Korean War and why we had to save them, was because they had one too many smoke breaks when they were out there.
I don't know. We went to
I've never heard of that. That's funny.
there's like a little village outside. I don't know what they do, but like it was like it kind of looked like it used to be a suburbs, right?
Yeah.
But then their front yard turned into like the smallest little garden you could ever see. And it was all fertilized with like a bunch of whatever shit they could find, like literal shit to fertilize it.
Yeah.
And it was like it smelled so fucking bad, dude.
Mhm.
But when you went down, they had this nice little Korean barbecue place. I'm pretty sure it was dog or some crazy shit, but it was good.
Okay.
They were like, oh, don't worry. They were like cooking it for us, and they were like, here you go.
Yep.
I was like, all right, cool, thanks.
How are because like I know like the common thing, like at least like when we see Japanese people, they're like very timid. They're like usually pretty nice, kind of like submissive people. But like, how are Koreans like as a people? Are they like similar, or pretty different? Like, just what was like the vibe you got from them?
So yeah, we did all that training, and then for the last like 3 days we were there, we got Libo, and so I really got like a full culture shock in Seoul,
Yeah.
and their drinking culture is like huge. They all like party hard as fuck, and they go
Okay.
hard like in the clubs. And we were in this dance club that kind of like went down this huge like basement and opened up into this floor. And we were there for like I don't know, probably like till 3 o'clock in the morning, dude. And we leave when we're leaving. There's so many drunk people leaving. They're kicking everybody out. And so you think like, in a big city, like especially in America, people are like acting rowdy and asshole or whatever, like maybe like talking bullshit. Everybody's loud leaving. Dude, everybody was so quiet, like leaving. They were being so respectful and like they were drunk as fuck. You could see people like falling over, super drunk, being like, oh, I'm sorry, and like walking off.
Yeah.
Like trying to be like super nice. And then while like we're the only white people there screaming like "fuck yeah!" like in the middle of the street, and everybody's looking. We get in a cab, and we're on the way back to base, and I guess we're just talking so loud, and the cab dude didn't like it, and he pulled over on the side or the first base he could find wasn't even like where we were supposed to be. He's like, "Get out!" And there were like some South Korean guards, and we had to walk up to them. Was like, "Can you call us another cab?" I'm so blackout drunk. I don't even remember like all of this happening. But I'm
Yeah.
like pissing like in front of the gate, like on the side of the road in front of them. And
Yeah.
they're like, hell no, like call a fuck. And so they call somebody up, and that dude like drives us all the way like an hour and a half. And I'm like passed out. I
Mhm.
wish, dude, I wish I had this video I could show you, but I'm like passed out in the corner of the car, and
Mhm.
somebody's like grabbing my face. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, I'm like punching them. And the cab driver's like yelling at us and shit. It's so bad, dude. It was, and so we get to the gate, and nobody told us this, but
Yeah.
they closed. So our curfew was like 1, but they closed that gate at 12. And so we roll up to the gate, and it's locked. And so we're like, how the fuck are we gonna make curfew? And we
Yeah.
literally had to like pull up the chain link fence gate and crawl up under it. And they all watched us do it. And it
Yeah.
was like, how are we not getting shot right now for this shit? It was so wild. I mean, we barely got back in time.
Mhm.
It's pretty cool. But they're super nice. I mean, they're all like, it almost felt like kind of like timid.
Yeah.
But then I don't know. And then there was like other things that was kind of weird too. Like, so we were in the club. This is still South Korea. It's this club called Aurora. And we're down there, and there's these like fat chicks that walk in, and they're like partying or whatever. And the club like gets filled with people. And these chicks were there for like maybe 30 minutes. And the bouncers came down, they were like tapped on them, and they were pointing like go upstairs. And then these other completely different girls that were way hotter like came down and took their seats. And you never saw those girls again. Like I guess they just like kicked them out because they're like, you're not hot enough to be here.
Damn.
So so it's kind of like
What are we
one of those
complaining about? We're not.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because
Yeah.
they weren't there for very long, like at all, and then they left. It's like I don't know. I thought it was pretty. It's like, well, everybody's nice, but then shit, like they're not nice to these people for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Oh, and another really interesting thing about that place too is you can't go to nightclubs or bars past I think 50. Like you can't be past 50 years old. They won't
Really?
let you in. Yeah,
Okay.
because they're trying to keep like a younger culture there.
Mhm.
Uh, to kind of like their hookup culture is like really big too. So
Yeah.
like you're gonna get fucking laid out there or whatever. Like any white dude will. Like
See,
for
their
real.
government has their priorities straight. I like that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. Because they know what's up. Because they know that like they're about to face like a huge like problem with that. I think a lot of
I
people are,
heard that
but
they because between them and Japan, like they're not having like any kids over there, and like I've heard that like they've had like a bunch of presidential candidates in like Japan and Korea like run on like trying to like save their race because like nobody's having kids over there.
yeah, dude. In Japan, they literally have like a dick parade or a fertility. They call it like the fertility month and fertility parade,
Yeah.
and it's like they all like celebrate like fertility. And it's kind of like, and they have two Valentines almost. Like one of them is, from what I remember, I learned a lot about this like my first trip. But
Hmm.
from what I remember, the dudes like I forget what date it is, but they give a girl a gift. This is like Japanese culture, and they give a girl a gift, and then like on actual Valentine's Day, if the girl like likes him, they kind of like reciprocate it with like kind of a similar gift or whatever, and then they go to this festival together, and that's how they're doing it. But their government is like making these holidays to try to get these people to do this,
Hmm.
because the average age of somebody in what is it like Japan? I'm pretty sure it's like 40-ish. I know it's like way over like what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I'd have to look, but
Hmm.
anyway.
Now, from what you saw, who do you think's more attractive, Korean or Japanese woman? From what you've seen.
Oh, dude. Well, the Okinawans are definitely like tanner. So, and
Okay.
like, but they're smaller and like slim. So, I mean, but they're like very beautiful, like women. But the
Yeah.
South Koreans like know what's up. Like, they know what's up. I don't know like what kind of food they eat, dude, but like they're eating the right food to make it like perfect.
They're probably eating that dog that you were mentioning
Oh,
earlier.
dude, dude. My dad, he was in South Korea, and he told me to go to a place, and he was like, ask for Kyogi. And he was like, they
Yogi.
might look at you super rude. I was like, all right, all right. And he like sent me the link, and I went there, and that place didn't exist anymore. So like I went and asked somebody in the area. I was like, do you know what this restaurant is? And they like laughed and they're like, oh yeah, yeah. And they like pulled something else up on their phone and sent it to me. And we went there and asked for it. And it's like Kyogi's like K9 or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And so like that's like anyway, it tastes like pulled pork.
Okay.
Like it's definitely an interesting like texture
What
for
kind of
sure.
dog breed is it, or does it like, or do you even remember?
Dude, I didn't ask. I didn't ask. I just like was like, oh, okay, okay. And he was like, oh, okay, okay, and like brought it out. And then because and then we met like right outside that same little village I was talking about,
Mhm.
outside Rodriguez. There was these two. Everybody there was like either like I don't know, dude. Like I don't want to be rude or anything, talk shit about them, but dude, it was a straight up mud village. Like everybody there was like fucked. Like
Yeah.
it's and they had like one grocery store and one restaurant, and that restaurant was like that Korean barbecue. They
Yeah.
didn't serve fucking dog, but like they were feeding us. But that anyway, that grocery store, the only two like good looking girls that were coming out there, they didn't speak English, obviously, but they saw us across the street. And I was just like, hey. And they came over and shared their Instagram with us. And then we ended up meeting them in that club later. And so it was definitely a fucking good time.
Oh, okay. Now, are they like the Jap? Because like I've heard just in general, like Japanese like women, like they love white guys. Like, is it the same thing with Koreans over there too, or?
Dude, when we were there were so many different type of people in that club too. There was these two Russian chicks. There was like a whole like mold of people. So in like you see in Japan, like you'll see a lot of other Japanese people traveling to Okinawa because that's like their Hawaii.
Yeah.
And but in South Korea, a lot of people from around the world like that nightlife culture. And we were seeing like these two Russian chicks, and then there was um these two like I don't know what they were. I think they were like South American or something. They didn't speak English either, or they spoke a little bit, but they were like super nice, like dudes. They were like
Yeah.
dancing around the crowd. So there's like a lot of different people there. But I remember dancing on the table, and this chick kept reaching up and like pinching my ass. And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like it was so funny.
Yep. That's dope.
So I mean, I think it just like depends. That like that hookup culture there is just like you're, like I said, you're definitely getting fucking laid. You go out there.
Yeah.
But I don't think like a lot of UDPs go out there because we didn't do that our first time, and so and
Mhm.
like at 3-6, our before that Gunny left, he was telling us he was like, yeah, you guys are gonna be a bunch of salty fucking lances. He was like, because nobody gets these opportunities, and I was like, bullshit, like or
Mhm.
whatever. But we were thinking we weren't gonna get like the defense ribbon, but
Yeah.
we stayed there like just in time, so